Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Soul Whispers Coming Home to You. This is episode 16, Full Moon in Capricorn, The Stories We Inherited. Let's begin by taking one slow breath together, in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw release, and let this time be what it is, a time that belongs entirely to you. I am Susan, certified somatic trauma-informed coach, and the rest of my credentials are in the show notes below. I'm someone who spent nearly 4 decades in a relationship that had moments of joy and happiness, but also moments built on intermittent reinforcement, gaslighting, and walking on eggshells. And all of those pieces created the perfect storm for a trauma bond. I'm here because my deepest wish is to help the person I used to be. You see, I found my own way back to myself once I finally had the language for what I lived. And I am here to give you that language, those tools, and the reminder that the power to heal has always been inside you. If you've been doing this from the beginning, we are 16 episodes in. And last week, under the summer solstice, we worked with the body. 3 somatic practices for expanding out of the habit of playing small and a sensory anchor to carry into the week. I hope you used it. I hope there were moments this week where you felt that tiny internal shift, the breath going a little deeper, and the voice landing a little more solidly. Tonight, the full moon in Capricorn peaks at 7:57 p.m. Eastern Time, and tomorrow morning, Mercury goes retrograde. That timing is not coincidental. The full moon illuminates, and Mercury retrograde, which gets such a bad reputation, is actually one of the most valuable planetary invitations of the year. An invitation to go inward, to revisit, to look at the stories we have been telling ourselves and ask whether they are actually true. And that is exactly what tonight is for. Now, I grew up believing certain things about myself, not because anyone sat me down and told them to me directly, because they were in the air, in the patterns, in the things that happened repeatedly that the mind of a child turned into conclusions. I believed for a very long time that love was something you had to earn, that being too much of anything, too needy, too loud, too sensitive, too certain of what you wanted, was dangerous, that the right way to be in the world was to make yourself useful and agreeable and easy, and to hope that was enough to keep the love coming. Those were not truths. They were conclusions. Conclusions drawn by a child doing her best to make sense of an environment that was sometimes frightening and often unpredictable. They made sense given what she had to work with. They kept her safe. And then she carried them forward into every relationship, every workplace, every room she entered for the next 4 decades, without ever fully stopping to ask whether they still applied. A limiting belief is not a character flaw. It is a very old solution to a problem that may no longer exist. The question is not, why did I believe this? It is simply, is it still true? And if the honest answer is no, what do I want to believe instead? The moment that changed everything for me was not dramatic. It was during a quiet afternoon when my mind offered me that question. A question I asked myself that I had never quite asked that directly before. Where did I learn that? Not about the relationship, but about the belief. Where did the belief that I was only lovable when I was useful come from? Who installed it, and when? And when I traced it back, not with blame, just with curiosity, I found a little girl who had learned something in very specific circumstances that were real and difficult and had shaped her understandably, but circumstances that were decades in the past, and I was still running her conclusions as the current truth. Tracing the belief back is not about finding someone to blame. It is about finding the origin point so you can see it clearly. Because what you can see clearly, you can finally choose differently. Now let's talk about the full moon in Capricorn that peaks tonight at 7:57 p.m. Eastern, 8-degree Capricorn, with the sun in Cancer directly opposite. Capricorn is the sign of structure, achievement, inherited responsibility, and the stories that were handed down through family lines before we were old enough to question them. This full moon is illuminating the architecture of your inner world, the beliefs, the rules, the inherited programs that have been running beneath the surface. Mercury Retrograde begins tomorrow morning, inviting 3 weeks of inward reflection, review, and revisiting. The two together create a rare window, maximum illumination tonight, followed by a sustained invitation to examine what was revealed. Use both of these. Now, what makes this particular full moon so significant is everything happening around it. Astrologers across the board are calling this a genuine turning point, not just a regular monthly lunation. Jupiter, which has been traveling through Cancer for the past year, expanding our emotional world and our relationship with home and belonging, leaves Cancer the very next day. That's a major closing of a chapter. The family axis, the Cancer-Capricorn axis of emotional foundation versus worldly structures, is fully lit up tonight. And Saturn in Aries is squaring both the sun and the moon, adding pressure and weight, and the particular quality of a reckoning that asks, what have you actually built? Does the life you are living reflect who you have truly become? Or have you been maintaining something out of habit or obligation, or simply because letting it go felt more frightening than the cost of keeping it? This is also being called the strawberry moon, a harvest moon, and the question it asks is, what is ripe? What is ready to be gathered in, and what is ready to be composted back into the earth? For us in this work, the answer to both of those questions lives in the old stories that we've been carrying. What is ripe is the awareness, the willingness, the readiness you have built through 16 weeks of coming home to yourself. What is ready to be composted is the inherited belief that what was never fully yours to carry. This full moon will not come again in this exact configuration. July is bringing significant shifts, and this lunation is the doorway. So what you release tonight under this beautiful bright light of the full moon in this specific window makes room for what July is already preparing to bring in. So don't let this one pass without intention. Now let's talk about limiting beliefs and the subconscious program. Up until approximately age 7, the brain operates primarily in a theta brainwave state. This is essentially a trance-like state, like daydreaming. The conscious analytical mind has not yet fully developed, which means the subconscious is wide open, absorbing everything in the environment without filter and without question. Everything that happened in those early years, what was modeled, what was said, what was rewarded, what was punished, what emotions were welcomed, and which were discouraged, all of it was filed directly into the subconscious mind as fact, not as something to be evaluated. As the way things are, that's what the subconscious does. Now, this is not a design flaw, it's the brain's efficiency. A child who has to consciously evaluate every piece of incoming information would be overwhelmed. The theta state allows rapid, effortless absorption. The cost is that what gets absorbed includes not only useful information, but also the fears, the limitations, the unhealed wounds, and the unconscious beliefs of every adult in the environment. You inherited stories you never asked for, and you have been living inside them without realizing you were doing it for most of your life. The most dangerous limiting beliefs are not the ones you can clearly articulate. They are the ones so deeply embedded you mistake them for facts about reality, rather than conclusions drawn by a child doing her best to survive. Here's what makes this so significant. The subconscious mind runs approximately 95% of your behavior, your emotional responses, and your automatic ways of relating to the world. The conscious mind, the part reading these words or listening to this video, making plans, setting intentions, runs about 5%, which means that in any given moment, the version of you making most of the decisions is not the one who has done the healing work and understands what happened. It is the one whose program was written decades ago in circumstances that no longer exist. That is why understanding is not enough. You can understand your limiting beliefs completely and still find yourself acting from them automatically, because understanding lives in the conscious mind and the program runs in the subconscious mind. They are not the same system, and the subconscious does not update simply because the conscious mind has caught up. What the subconscious does respond to, and this is where the real work lives, is felt experience, repetition, the consistent emotionally charged practice of something new. Not an affirmation spoken without feeling. A genuine, embodied, lived experience of a different reality that the subconscious can begin to file as a new program. Some of the most common limiting beliefs that get installed in childhood and carried forward for decades are the following. I'm not enough. No matter what I do, it will never be quite enough to earn the love or the approval or the safety I need. I'm too much. My feelings are too big. My needs are too demanding. My personality takes up too much space. I need to be smaller to be acceptable. Love is conditional. Warmth arrives when I perform correctly and is withdrawn when I don't. The only safe strategy is constant vigilance. Money is dangerous, scarce, or something other people have. Money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough, and wanting more is somehow wrong. Success will cost me something. I'm going to have to work so hard. If I shine too brightly, I might lose connection, or people might not like me anymore, or invite criticism or judgment, or I might be expected to sustain something that I feel like I cannot sustain. I have to do everything myself. Asking for help is weakness. Depending on anyone is unsafe. I want you to know, none of these are true. Every single one is an inherited story, and every single one can be rewritten. You did not choose the story you were given, but you are old enough now to choose whether you keep living inside that story. Dr. Joseph Murphy, who wrote The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, spent decades studying the subconscious mind and what actually changes it. Not willpower, not repetition alone, not positive thinking pasted over negative feelings. What changes the subconscious program is a felt instruction, something offered in a state of genuine emotional resonance in the moments when the subconscious is most receptive. Those moments are the threshold states, just before sleep and just before you wake up, when the conscious mind steps aside and the deeper mind, the subconscious, is open. What you offer to your subconscious in those moments with genuine feeling and belief becomes the instruction it works from, not immediately, not all at once, but through consistent repetition over days and weeks, the new instruction begins to replace the old program. The instruction is not an affirmation. An affirmation is something you say. A felt instruction is something you experience. It carries an emotional charge. It lands in the body as well as the mind. It feels, even if only a little, like it might actually be true. So start small. Not, I am infinitely worthy and completely loved. That gap may be too large for the subconscious to bridge in one instruction. Start with something closer to where you actually are. Something that feels like it could be true, even if it does not yet feel completely true, and offer it with feeling in the threshold state consistently. The program changes. It takes time, but it does change. I know, because mine did. I can think back of what helped me begin shifting and changing my life and moving forward was when I began to apply all of this in my life, specifically when I had the severe arthritis pain. I began to take the time every morning before I woke up and before I went to bed, and even sometimes during the day if I could find some quiet time, to see myself in my mind, jogging through the park or running or riding a bike and feeling free and happy. And then I would take moments that I had in my life where I did feel happy and joyful, and I would let my body feel them. And I'd sometimes think of my pet who made me feel so much love and joy and happiness, and I felt loved. And I let that emotion come in. And before I knew it, I was feeling all these wonderful, amazing feelings as if it were true. Now, one thing you must understand is the subconscious mind does not understand the difference between what is real and what is not real. It does not know. It just goes by what you feed it in patterns and in repetition. So the more consistent you are doing this, the more you will bring about those changes, because the subconscious mind will bring you what you think about and feel and believe the most. So pay attention to what you are focusing on, especially when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed. Now, I want to say something directly to anyone who has been trying to change these stories for a long time and wondering why it's taking so long. First of all, you're not failing. You are doing something that is genuinely difficult. You're trying to update a program that was installed before you had the capacity to question it, using tools that are only now becoming available to you. Of course it takes time. Of course there are setbacks. And of course the old story reasserts itself in moments of stress or tiredness or fear. That does not mean the new story's not landing. It means the old one had decades of reinforcement and the new one is still young. So keep going. Consistency is the key. Every time you choose the new instruction over the old one, you lay another brick. Every time, even when it does not feel like it's working. Don't give up. Keep building the foundation of the life you want. Neuroplasticity is not a metaphor. The brain is physically capable of building new pathways at any age, regardless of how long the old program has been running. You were made to learn. You were made to change. The science confirms what healing has always known. It is never too late, and it's always possible. God, the universe and source, the intelligence that wired neuroplasticity into your brain before you were born, that placed within you the capacity to learn and unlearn and relearn, that has been working through every difficult chapter in your life to bring you to a place where you can finally see the story clearly enough to choose differently. That intelligence is with you right now. And under this bright, beautiful full moon, with all of its illuminating light, you are not just seeing the old story. You are seeing that it was never the only story, that it was one conclusion drawn in one set of circumstances by a version of you who was doing her absolute best. You've done your best your whole life, and now your best includes this, the willingness to look at what has been running and to say, I choose something different now. That is not small. That is everything. Now let's do little rewriting of the story before we start our somatic practice. The old story, I'd like you to find a piece of paper and pen and write down the limiting belief you are releasing tonight under this full moon. Be specific, not I'm releasing negative beliefs. I mean, write the actual story, the actual sentence your subconscious has been running for so long. Get it out of the dark and onto the page. And then we're going to start the new instruction. So once you complete writing down your limiting belief, you're going to write down the new instruction, which is not the opposite of the old belief necessarily. The truth you are choosing to grow into. You want to write down something that feels possible, even if not yet completely real, and offer this to your subconscious tonight in the threshold state right before you go to sleep. Now let's do a little somatic practice. Limiting beliefs do not just live in the mind, they live in the body, in the nervous system, in the posture, the breath, the automatic tension that arrives in certain situations. So before we go into the meditation, I want to help you locate your limiting belief somatically, because when you can feel where it lives in your body, you can begin to release it from the body too. So sit quietly and take 3 slow vagus nerve breaths. That means in for 4 through your nose, you're going to hold for 2, and you're going to slowly exhale through your mouth for the count of 7. Let's bring to mind the limiting belief you identified in the stories you wrote and the story you are inventing. And instead of thinking about it, just notice what happens in your body as you hold it in awareness. Where is there a response? A tightening, a heaviness, a bracing, a particular quality of contraction? Place your hands there. This is where the story's been living, not just in your thoughts, but in the tissue, in the nervous system, in your fascia. And now, without trying to fix anything yet, just let that place know, I see you. I know you've been holding this story for a long time. And tonight, I am ready to begin giving you something different to hold. That moment of acknowledgement in your body is where the real reprogramming begins. Now let's begin your guided meditation. Find a comfortable position. If you're able to have your feet flat on the floor, or both hands open in your lap. And again, take another slow breath in and a long, complete exhale. And feel the full moon energy in the room with you right now. Even if you cannot see it from where you're sitting. It illuminates everything it touches. And the full moon in Capricorn is particularly luminous on the things that have been running as structure, as rules, as the way things simply are. And those structures are lit up. And what can be seen clearly can finally be chosen consciously. So begin to let yourself settle. There's nothing to figure out right now. Just let your shoulders drop and your jaw drop, relaxing all your muscles in your body, and just arrive here in this space It's your time to heal, your time to nurture yourself. Now go ahead and bring the limiting belief gently into your awareness. The specific story, the inherited program. And as you hold it, I want you to let it take a form in your imagination. What does it look like? Does it have color? A shape? A weight? Or a texture? Or does it appear as words written somewhere? Or perhaps it's a feeling, or an image from a specific moment in your past. Take your time. Let it show itself clearly. You are safe here. And you are looking at it from the higher self, from the place in you that is not afraid of what it finds. Welcome it in. Now notice where this belief lives in the room of your inner world. Is it close to you or far away? Is it in front of you or behind you? Is it large or small? And notice something very important. You are not inside the belief. You're looking at it. That distance, however small, is the self's perspective. That is where the freedom is. Now gently allow yourself to see where this story came from. Not with blame, with a gentle curiosity of someone reading a book about a character they love. How old were you when this conclusion was first drawn? What was happening around you? What did the little child need to believe in order to make sense of her world? Or to stay safe? Or to earn the love that felt so uncertain? She was doing her best. She was working with the only tools she had. And the conclusion she drew made complete sense given what she was living. Now from your higher self, offer her something she may have needed then and never fully received. Acknowledgement, understanding. The simple, warm truth that she was not wrong. To believe what she believed. She was just working with incomplete information. And now you have more. Now, under this full moon with its maximum illuminating light, I want you to make a conscious choice. You do not have to keep carrying this story. Not because it was wrong to carry it. Not because you should have let it go sooner. But because it has served its purpose. It kept you safe when safety was uncertain. And now, right now in this moment, you are safe enough to put it down. Now see the old story in your imagination one more time. And with the full moon's light helping you, see it begin to loosen, to lose its grip, to become very slowly something you are holding rather than something that is holding you. And now begin to release it, however that feels right for you. You might imagine it dissolving in the full moon light, burning away, dissolving, floating up and out. Whatever your imagination offers, let it go and breathe. Now take a breath into the space where the old story was. Notice how the body feels with a little more room in it. Into that space from the self, with all the feeling you can bring, begin to offer the new instruction. Not the perfect opposite of the old belief, just the next true thing. The thing that feels like it could be real, even if it is not yet completely real. Now say this internally and slowly and with full attention. Speak it in your mind. Say it out loud if you want to as well. What is it you desire? What is it that you want to create and make completely real, even if it's not yet real? What is your intention? What do you want to release? Now feel in your body where that new instruction wants to land. Let it go there. Let your cells and your nervous system all receive it, not as a thought, but as an experience, as something that has already, in this moment, begun to be true. Feel it and breathe. Now this is the moment the program begins to change. Not dramatically, not all at once, but the first brick of the new pathway has just been laid in the most receptive state you could possibly offer it. Deep relaxation, genuine feeling, the full moon's amplifying energy and your own conscious, freely chosen decision to tell a different story. Now feel the full moon above you, the light, the beautiful healing energy, and feel what begins tomorrow. Mercury Retrograde, normally dreaded, and yet for someone doing the work you're doing, it's a gift. 3 weeks of Mercury Retrograde is 3 weeks of the universe inviting you to go inward. It's safe to do so, to revisit the stories, to review and reflect and revise. Use this gift every morning for the next 3 weeks in that threshold state between sleep and waking. Offer your subconscious the new instruction. Feel it and let it land. God, the universe and source, the intelligence that placed within you the capacity to change, to grow, to rewrite the program and the story at any age. That intelligence is in this full moon. It's in this meditation and in the new instruction you just gave your subconscious mind. The whisper from your soul tonight is this: the story is not over. You are not a finished product of your past. You are a continuing choice. And tonight, you choose differently. And you have started to write a new, beautiful story. Now take one final breath in and a nice, deep, long exhale out. And let the new instructions settle a little deeper into your body. And when you're ready, bring yourself back to the present time and gently open your eyes. Now, if you've been following along since the beginning, and if you haven't, you can always go back and do all these episodes. But we are 16 episodes in, and tonight, under the full moon in Capricorn, an old story was released and a new instruction was given to the subconscious mind that's been running your life. Not perfectly, not forever finished, but genuinely, consciously chosen. Carry the new instruction into tonight's sleep. It is the most powerful time to offer it. Say it once more with feeling as you drift off into sleep. And sometimes it helps to even give gratitude to it as if it's already happened and feel that joy. And tomorrow morning, in that drowsy, drifting state between waking and sleep, say it again and feel it in your body. That is where it lands the deepest. Mercury retrograde has been in its pre-shadow phase, so you might have already been feeling this, but we are going full into Mercury retrograde tomorrow. Use it. Let the next 3 weeks be a season of reviewing and revising the stories, not with self-criticism, but with a gentle, curious, compassionate eye of someone who finally has the tools to see it clearly. Next episode, episode 17, we will be talking about Mercury retrograde in Cancer. We'll also be talking about when stress speaks. Are you listening? We go into stress as a universal human experience, the body's most honest signal, and some EFT tapping as the tool for releasing what the nervous system has been holding, a full tapping sequence that you can use every single day. You can find me here every week offering you a safe place to land. And if you're ready to go deeper, if today illuminated a story that's been running your life without your full awareness, this work goes much deeper in one-to-one sessions. The subconscious mind responds to the whole person, and rewriting the program is so much faster when you're not doing it alone. The story that has been running is not the whole truth, and you do not have to keep living inside of it. If you'd like to book a free discovery call, I have left the link in the show notes below. And I would love to hear from you. please leave a comment and tell me what is one limiting belief you are releasing under this full moon tonight. Writing it makes it real, and your answer might be exactly what someone else needed the courage to name. If Soul Whispers is part of your journey coming home to you, please subscribe if you haven't already. And for those of you who have subscribed, I am so grateful to all of you. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed today and it helped, and please share with others, because it might just help one person who is ready to stop living inside a story that was never fully theirs to begin with. Till next time, remember, you are already home. Love and hugs.